Axl Rose. Let me begin by saying a few years ago, I actually decided to go to one of the shows performed by you and the band you insist on still calling Guns N' Roses, because I honestly wanted to believe that you could carry on that righteous, hallowed name on your own. Like so many people, the name Guns N' Roses means something to me, a hell of a lot in fact. And unfortunately, you failed miserably in your attempt to bring any respect whatsoever to that name. I honestly could have asked the entire crowd that was there what they thought, because the arena was only about a quarter full, but I didn't, my bad. That evening pretty much sums up everything that's made me and so many other people absolutely despise you over the last few decades. And that in itself is a tragedy, because I continue to enjoy your earlier work on a weekly basis. I just have to work at it each and every time to forget the beast and the jerk that you've become. Let's be honest, having Buckethead or Bumblebee or whoever it is on guitar makes your band no more worthy of the name Guns N' Roses than any other configuration of your former bandmates, even if Scott Weiland is on vocals. You know what the difference is? One set of those people realize they shouldn't use the Guns N' Roses name. It's not that Buckethead or Buzz Lightyear can't play guitar very well, because we know that Buckethead remains one of the greatest guitar players of all time. But there are certain members of certain bands in history that you just can't replace. You, Axl, happen to be one of them. There's only one Axl Rose in history. But the same is also true of the majority of your former band. And in case nobody's told you yet, your pompous attitude pretty much finished running its course around the time you released the Spaghetti Incident. Your angry, often rude stage antics were somehow a little bit amusing when you were a hot-headed 20-something badass rocker. But those antics read much differently when you're a bloated, plastic dread-wearing prima donna in his 50s. I mean, really, get a sense of humor. Everybody on the planet, except for you, thought that the Offspring's Chinese democracy joke the other year was really funny. Because you know what? It was funny. Get a little more bran in your diet. And speaking of a running joke, I can't help but ask you, does it really take a decade to put out an album when that album in the end is so mediocre? I mean, I'm not saying I was expecting the next Exile on Main Street or Appetite for Destruction, but it wasn't even in the top 500 records of the year it came out. And let's be honest, that was as much a Guns N' Roses record as the last Billy Corgan album was a Smashing Pumpkins record. Honestly, Axl, I know that by now this sort of hatred is nothing new to you, but maybe you missed the fact that you could have gotten rid of all of it in one simple act. Not being a complete child when it came to the inductions to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This has become the place that, if only for one evening, bands that absolutely hate each other can stand next to each other on stage for 5 minutes and take credit for the amazing things they accomplished together. I mean, seriously, freaking Talking Heads and Heart and oh, the rest of your band managed to put aside the petty crap for one evening and do what was right for, that's right, the fans. You know, the people that got you where you are today. Yes, I read your rather lengthy, adjective-laden letter to your fans. And it remains to me one of the most, you know what, let me quote you, that letter was double talk and jive. You're trying to take both sides of the issue throughout it, but what it comes down to is the fact that you're still too immature to stand on stage next to someone for 5 minutes and say thank you. No playing was required. Hell, you didn't even have to speak. Just a nod, maybe a wave, and you would have instantly become the bigger person in this entire situation. Honestly, Axl, I'm not one of those people who wants Guns N' Roses to reunite. That is the last thing I want to happen. I really don't think it could ever be done again under the idea of the right reasons. And I never want to see this band do a reunion if it's only for the money. You guys were far beyond money and represented the idea of what it really meant to be rock and roll through and through. What I'm really asking you is this. Stop desecrating the name Guns N' Roses. Stop dragging it through the mud with your adolescent antics and tirades, and your shouting matches with people who for whatever reason paid to see you live, and your passive-aggressive comments towards your former bandmates. All of it. Just stop. Whatever this new rumored record that you're putting out is, please leave that band's name off of it. Guns N' Roses as a band ended in 1996 at the very latest. Why not call the new musicians you're singing with the Axl Rose Project, or hey, it's Axl Rose, or something like that? It'll be much better for your ego like that, because in the end, we all know that there's no bigger Axl Rose fan on this planet than you.